So just introduce myself if you don't know. I'm Coach Trev, your accountability coach. And my tagline is, for those who haven't heard it, it's the tagline that makes your head tilt and makes you smile, which is the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide. That's right. The foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide. So if you don't know this, I like to put words together. I'm a fan of alliteration, poetry, wordsmithing. Really, I like to pull apart, reshape, and remake words. So be ready for that during this presentation, this training. So you've been warned. All right. So what I want to do is I want to get into really how to show up on social media and in person. So there's been some challenges I know that some people have been having. I wanted just to do a quick a training on this, so to help everyone out. So if you're watching live now, feel free to put into the chat, put into put hashtag live into the chat if you are watching now. All right, hashtag live. If you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay. All right, so let me take a look and see who might be showing up here, which is a great thing. So one, thank you so much for those that are watching. Thank you. Yep, so if you're watching, as I said, put a hashtag live into the chat. And if you're watching on the replay, let me know. Just put a hashtag replay into the chat. Thank you so much for those that showed up. For those that are here, thank you. Hey, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate you for showing up, for taking the time. So that's a blessing. I appreciate that. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to do this training because, as I said, I've been, talking to people and also just really looking at my things and showing up because not many people know how to show up in person or in social media. So, the last few years, we've been out of practice. Nearly all of us have been confined to being inside, and many of us have lost our connection skills and people skills, etc. Now, after all this time, we enter into what I'd like to call the great re-socialization. All right. So it's getting reacclimated with, people skills and with your social skills, those things that connect us, that help us to not be just humans doing, but humans being. All right. So one of the things, so as I go through this and you'll see, really want to give you some tools and tips in regards to showing up. So one of the questions is, I would say, you want to ask yourself when you're coming online, what's your purpose for showing up? All right. So that's one of the questions you want to ask. What's your purpose for showing up? Question is, and that applies to social media, that applies to being in person. And so what I like to say is that there are a number of ways that you can show up. I call them the L's, to learn, to listen, to lecture, to lift, to link, and to labor. As you see, yes, I'm into alliteration. And in thinking about this, would have been great to, have slides with this to, be memorable. So it's a good thing I did. So I do have slides. Let me get the presentation up and let me share this with you so that you can have notes and you can also come back to the replay. So that's going to be a good thing then. So let me put the presentation up. We'll go full screen for that. Excellent. And actually, before I go full screen for that, let me go here, do my presentation, and let me grab some information here. So you go here, and now we got the presentation. So I'm going to share this. Present. So we're going to go full screen, and now I'm going to share my screen with you. So let's go. And it's great. So I am sharing my screen. Of course, it would be great if I had the presentation up. That's one of the key things. So here we go. How to show up online and in person. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. And let me just double check. If you can see my screen, feel free to comment if you see how to show up online and in person. All right, so I'm just going to double check here. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's see. So I've got all that stuff here. Excellent. So it is showing up online and in person. All right. So as I said, the first question you want to ask yourself when you're showing up online and in person is, what's your purpose for showing up? Why are you there? What is the reason that you've decided to either go to this event or decided to go online and enter into a platform or into a particular discussion? So um, the reasons I say that you show up are to either learn, to listen, to lecture, to lift, to link, and labor. Learn, listen, lecture, lift, link, labor. So I'm going to go through all of those, but I definitely wanted to show that to you to see, to let you show, to let you know. We do have that down: to learn, to listen, lecture, lift, link, and labor. So let me go back full screen. All right. So one of the reasons, so when I talk about learning, all right. So when I talk about learning, and I'm just going to post some stuff over here. What I mean is this, is that when you're showing up in social media and in person, if you want to learn, that means, you could want to learn a skill. You may want to learn some music, maybe learn a language. Music, I mean, maybe how to play an instrument. You can do that in person and online now. You may want to learn about some health tips or recipes, or you may want to particularly learn what's in a speech or book. So you can show up online and in person to learn. So that's one. Second, listen. And when I say listen, I mean you could go online and go in person to, listen to music. You go to a concert, or you go to a particular establishment. You can also you listen for discussions, for books, and for speeches. So that's how you can listen. The next I said is lecture. When I mean lecture, I mean maybe you're going online or in person to speak to people. You are there to teach, to educate, to give your opinion, or to report. All right, so that's lecture. The next is lift. I said lift, and what I mean by lifting is you're going online or you're going in person to encourage people, to edify, to build them up, to inspire. You're showing up person to help someone, to uplift them. So you're encouraging them, you're supporting them. So as a support. So that's what I mean by lift. Almost done. Link. We can go online and you can show in person to link, which means you're linking with people, you're networking, you're connecting. Maybe you're going online or in person to recommend, to endorse somebody, or to find partnerships. All right. And the last one is labor. Labor meaning to find, you could go online or go in person to find work, to find a business, maybe to grow a business, to connect with people that can help you to end your labor and your desire to work, to earn income, need those things. So that's really going to be your first question: is what's your purpose for showing up? Are you there to learn? Are you there to listen? Are you there to lecture, speak, to educate? Are you there to live, to encourage someone, to support someone? Are you there to link, to network and connect? Or are you there to labor, find work, or find a business, grow a business? So it's really key to find out what's your purpose. I would encourage you, take time, sit down. Why are you here? What encouraged you? If you're in person, what encouraged you to come to this event, to this organization, to this building? If you're showing online, what encouraged you? What was in you to come to this platform? All right. So that's a key thing to really know that information. Okay. So that's when you want to define your purpose. Now, let's go back to sharing my screen, and we will continue on with that. So definitely find out what your purpose is. That's a key thing. All right. So as you're showing up, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the 3 C's of showing up on social media and in person. All right. The 3 C's. So it's one of the key things, as I told you before. I like alliteration. I like words, putting things together. So the 3 C's there. Look at this guy. Smile, okay? Chin up. So the first C is culture. All right, culture. Now, and so now that we have that, let me go. Big screen for y'all, full screen for you. What I mean by culture is this: is that there are. We'll talk about in person as well. So when it comes to culture, I mean, in person, like places and homes, um, organizations, buildings. So there are certain cultures where people prefer, where it may be if you're invited to dinner in a particular culture and you're given a plate in a particular culture, it's a sign of respect to clean your plate, to eat everything that's on there, to eat everything that you're given, drink whatever. So that's a sign of respect. However, in another culture, it's a sign of respect to leave food on there, because what happens is that if you clean your plate, that's a sign to them that they didn't give you enough and they may feel badly. So that's an example of a particular culture or a particular custom. Another custom in a different place or homes. You may come visit somebody and it may be custom to take your shoes off. While in someone else's home, you can keep them on. So the point I'm making is that there are protocols and customs. A thing you want to do is offend. So so this applies when you're in person and when you're on social media. Uh, when you're entering in person, a home, a network, an event, a building, even in online, the best way to show up is with a mindset to learn and to be taught. You want to be teachable. You don't want to go there showing off the knowledge you've gained or opinions you have. The challenge with that is that with you come there teachable, if you come there with those opinions, you're only going to see things through that lens. You want to be open. You want to be really teachable. Like meaning, if you have to drive to an event, or if you have to take public transportation, get a ride, whatever, however you're there, you want to really take the time to take a breath. You don't want to go in there with any familiarity, meaning that if it's, you've been somewhere, you've been to that building, you don't want to come in there with my coat goes here, my hat goes here, the facilities are this way. No, enter with that attitude of gratitude and the mindset to really learn. Take a minute, remove the drive, remove the transportation, and really put on your ears. That's why we say we have two ears, one mouth. Listen more than we speak. It's when it comes to social media, it's the same thing. The internet, the platform, that's an environment that you're entering in. It's key that you want to really learn the language, the movement, what can keep you in, what are the key terms, and also what to look out for so that you're not removed or put in a particular place. So that's a key thing, really, when it comes to that. You want to find out what is the culture of the place in person and online. So what's the culture? What are the customs? What are the protocol? And you want to move accordingly. So have that mindset to be teachable, to be that. All right. So now we're gonna move on to the next C. And the next C, I will show you here. The next C is, oops, let's move that here. The next C is going to be character. Yes, character. So really, when it comes to that, when it comes to character, some people, get offended by that term, by that word, character. So meaning that, how do you show up and how are you going to be presenting yourself? So that's a key issue to understand. Sometimes when people hear the word character, they may get offended, because they're thinking, you got to put on a facade or put on something. And so if you're offended by that, let me go full screen by that. If you're offended by that, I would challenge you to say, really dig into what is the roots. What's your issue? What may be causing what is causing you for that reaction to be your action if you're offended when you hear the word character. So really, I definitely would say, look at the root, see what's in there, because it may be something that needs to be uprooted, that needs to be removed or adjusted that's in you. And so when I say character, I mean, who are you? How much of you shows up? I would encourage anytime you're online and you're in person to really embrace integrity. There are so many levels of integrity that people that you can have when you're online and when you're in person. So, for instance, if you're in person, you may feel the need to raise your voice, raise your voice. You'll feel the need to raise your voice, or you may feel the need to lower your voice. You might feel the need to inflect something so that you are making your point. You'll feel the need to emphasize things. And so you may feel the need to be inflective to make your point. So, but you want to be careful with that because you don't want to be offensive. You also want to be mindful of how you speak. I have to be mindful of how I speak. There are some times when I may mispronounce something, or if I'm speaking quickly, I may put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. So I make fun of myself. So same thing in person. You really want to know how things come across when it comes to social media. You're reading something, but it's how it's communicated. And I emphasize the term integrity because it's really exhausting trying to be so many things to so many people. You try and do, you're trying to do one thing and then you're putting there and you're showing up here for this person, here for that one, here for whoever. And so it's really not healthy for you. It expends your energy and it's not you.